Alright, I am going to try this season to do a weekly track guide, setup guide type deal for the Silver Crowns to help people out on the Wednesday night slot. Remember, it is Wednesday night, 7:45, official racing. Sign up just like you do any other official race, and you'll be eligible if you come and comment on that week's race video. And I will keep track of your points, and each time you race on that time slot, you'll be entered to win a $15 gift certificate. So, we are at crappy Phoenix. Do not like this version of the track. Old version, so much better, but it's what we got, so we're going to race it. Switch back and forth between this and the old one, I think, is what they do. So I'm just going to run default. Setups are good enough that I get beat with them sometimes, and I'm not sure if Wayne's sets pass anymore because there was a change to the way the rear end works. So, not sure, haven't even looked into it that much, but what you need to do if you're new to this car is realize that early in the race you have a ton of fuel hanging off the back end. So we've got, what is it, 33 gallons here on the rear end of this. So understand that the car is going to go through a lot of changes. It's going to be quicker the more laps you run. Don't go into a practice trying to chase fast lap times. That's not going to do any good because you have no idea if someone is running 5 gallons or 33 gallons. So just be steady with the car. Understand, even if you do test out what it's like with low fuel, by the time you get to low fuel, you're going to be on old tires. And there are no tire changes in the series, so you want to be easy on the tires, but you also don't want to get stuck behind a bunch of slower people if you screw up in qualifying. This track's very simple. Slow down for the corner. Just get to the yellow line. It's going to be a little snappy down there, so if you're having troubles with that, you can run a little higher. If you stay on the dog leg, it does get a bit snappy. And then 3 and 4 down to the yellow line, ease onto it, and down the front stretch. You can run up here. It's going to be a little slower, but it's also less snappy. It will start snapping on you if you get onto the gas too hard later on, but you might need to change the gearing a bit if you're going to run up there. I wouldn't touch it because we are going to start losing a bit of pace later on in these races. Very easy to make it down here. Just don't overdrive the entry of the corner. Then you have the option to take this. I would take it. The transitions don't seem too bad. Don't try to straddle that transition though. Know that not everyone is going to take that. So if you are on the outside, don't just assume someone's going to go down there. But as I'm going along right now, car's feeling stable, feeling pretty good. Optimal's at 26.0, best laps at 26.1. So now the question that everyone always asks is, weight jacker, what do I do with it? When you're starting out, don't do anything with it. Just leave it alone, forget it's even there. Most of the tracks, I forget it's there, unless things go really bad. But let's go ahead and give it a try, see if I remember exactly how it works. With this, it's kind of backwards from IndyCar, I think. -10 should add more weight to the right rear, make it looser. Although that felt like it was tighter there, but it's probably going to be snappy. It's definitely feeling like it's rotating out of the corner more. But it feels tighter on corner entry. Yeah, it's definitely rotating on exit more. So, if you're struggling on exit, you can start working that, but also make sure that you're not just overdriving entry, and that's why you're struggling on exit. So, if you're getting loose off the corner, then obviously you want to go positive. We'll see what that does. We're just going to max it out. Right when I got on the gas, you just see the nose push there. Does seem like it helps a little on corner entry, but it's definitely nose pushy on exit. Like, not terrible right now because tires are pretty much brand new. So we've only done a few laps. But it's kind of different than how the IndyCar works. You're going to use this a little bit with fuel changes and tire wear, but really for this track, don't worry about it too much. If you're new to this car, leave it at 0. If you're having issues off the corner, adjust it and just leave it. Don't try to play around with it. Now, one cool thing about this car that you don't get in many of the other ones when you're racing here is you can come down and use the new NASCAR line. There is a bit of grip, and you can kind of make it work. It's a little tricky on transition. I'm not saying that's where you want to be, but just know it is an option. But most likely, if anyone does that, they're going to wreck. I will use it as a very last resort to dive it in. But there is just enough grip there. I couldn't get the Cup cars to do it. They were a little fat. But this thing can stay down there and be fine. Definitely don't want to touch the apron here in 1 and 2. A little loose there. And it's going to continue to just get a little bit snappy on you off the corner. So you just got to be really easy on that right foot. So let's take a look and see, first of all, how many laps I did in that run. And then look at the tires, because I doubt we've got much wear. So as you can see, identical to the fixed setup. 98, 97. So rear tires slightly getting used up more. Left front's not getting used at all. And then heat-wise, we're pretty even on the right front and right rear. Just look at the middle heats or the inside heats. Outside heat doesn't mean a whole lot. Now, let's go ahead and just drop the fuel. If you do this, you can see by the time we get to an end of a run, you're going to be illegal. Nothing to worry about. There's no post-race inspection. I don't want to start tweaking things, so let's just... I'm moving the weight jacker around. You can see, playing with the weight jacker in the garage, you can see where the corners weights change, if that helps you understand a bit more. Try to get this thing to pass, just so I can kind of give you an idea of low fuel. What I don't want to do is start changing the setup. Bastard. Alright. Let's see. Nope. Alright. Don't change the setup. Yeah. Alright, so you can go down to 5. Let's just go click up on the left front. shock collar. That gets us past. We didn't do a whole lot of changing to the setup. So now I'll go show you what this can do. Now you can change the weight jacker to whatever you want. I'm going to take it to 0. We're going to see what this thing feels like. Again, remember, when you do this, you're on fresh tires, so it's not going to feel like the end of the run, but this can kind of give you an idea of qualifying time, although most likely people are going to be doing qualifying setups. Again, don't worry about it. Show up, have fun. Car's very sketchy off the corner already, but you can see we've got tons more speed because we're not as fat. We're still ugly because it's a Silver Crown Speedway car, but we're not as fat. So, might actually need a gear change. I'm not too much of a fan of this gear, but alright, instantly we run our best lap. So that shows you how much weight changes things. Now I've went up on the weight jacker to 3 just to help it out of the corner a little bit. Go down here, overdrove that, really tight on corner entry, nose much heavier now.
26.022.
But don't get too focused on trying to get a qualifying setup. There are people out there who practice and do a bunch of qualifying runs to tweak their qualifying setup, but then they're dog shit in the race. You know, focus on the race because that's where the fun's going to happen. That's where I want everyone to be clean. It's an official race, so, you know, I don't want to have to protest a viewer for being just complete trash. But you can see we've gained speed. The car has changed quite a bit. It is really tight now, front end heavy, but will snap on exit.
26.056.
So, very tight on corner entry. And you've got, if you want to start playing with setups with this, you can. There's 2 different ways of doing it. You can start with low fuel and take the setup where you want to go, get it driving good on low fuel, and then add the fuel and just get to the point where you felt good at 10 gallons. Or you can get it to feel better with high fuel, but most likely that means you're going to be worse off at the end of the run. So for me, I am just running this Phoenix 2012, and that's what I'll run all season long, unless a car is just complete trash. Darlington did not feel very good. I may do a rear end gear change on this. It's that chipping out most of the backstretch. That did not feel good. So I think there's a pretty big gap there, but I think a 369 will be better off. Let's go ahead and go see what that feels like on fuel. Remember, no clutch and no second gear in this now this season, and single file restarts. Back into the fat and heavy. Now, if you do that gear change, you're probably going to be a little worse off on restarts. But I think long run wise, you're going to be a little better from this point on, and going to be able to attack a little more on corner entry. I don't feel like it's bogging or anything, and this is when it's going to be slowest. But Tanner usually knows what he's doing, so, you know, I'm pretty stupid when it comes to setups, so you may be better off not listening to me. Yeah, got away with with even straddling it, but then a little snap on exit. So, yeah, I'm probably going to go with gear change. Just because I feel like that end of the run speed with the less weight, I think less weight is going to be a bigger deal than tire wear here. So, if you want to play around with things on the setup, I would focus on tire pressures. Stagger's probably fine where it is. And maybe, I don't know. I don't know where else you would even look on this. It looks like 35 gallons is going to get you at max usage 50 or 67 laps, and on average 77 laps. Let me double check to see what the race length is. I've never done this much preparation before a race. So it's an 80 lap race. So 35 is probably cutting it a little close. Although with the lower gear change, it might be just fine. So maybe 36, but I assume 35 works once you get going, and caution lap will instantly make it fine. I don't really mess with brake bias in the car, but obviously that's always an option. I don't think it goes lower than 50. Yeah, so really the only thing you use brake bias for in iRacing is corner entry, obviously, because that's where you're using the brakes. And it's as far back as you can get it, so nothing to really look at there. So if you got questions, ask them. I don't think, setup wise, I don't think you need to change anything, especially if you're just starting out. There are notes in here. Yeah, so obviously those are common sense. Higher rear stagger, looser, lower, tighter. So I guess he's saying to play with stagger, so you can do that if you want. Here's my lap times. Looking at what are we at? 26.2 was my best on fuel run. Maybe a 26.1. I thought I hit a 26.1. I did on the first run when I was out playing around, and I did on that last run with the gear change. So hopefully that helps everyone understand. Just a bit of me yapping along, and yeah, hope to see everyone on Wednesday. I hope if we can get 2 splits, that would be awesome. The amount of people that have said they want to run this, I think we could end up with 3 splits. But 2 splits will be great. And, I think we're going to get a hell of a lot more than just 6 people. So it's going to be fun. And I hope you guys enjoy the car. Practice it, though, because, the series is good when people show up and know how to race and know how to control the car. It's not something where you just show up and drive as hard as you possibly can. That's going to end up with you wrecked or spinning out coming out of the corner. So understand your limits, get some laps in. There's a goal to aim for, but always aim to be better than me, because I am not that great. Practice with low fuel just to see what it's going to be like. And if you do a full run, that's even better. I just can't bring myself to do a full run. And you can always run the other races that are going official. I believe they're all going to be 9:45 Eastern time, Monday through Friday. And then our championship race for my viewers is going to be the 7:45 race on Wednesday. And you just sign up, official race, and then come tell me you were in it. Say hello if you're in my split. If you're not, don't worry about it. You're going to get the same points that the top split does for wherever you finish. And yeah, I hope everyone enjoys it, and I hope to see a lot of people racing this. So Thanks for watching. Let me know if these little videos help, and I will continue to do them.